Okay, here's a quick update on my new load order, some of the things that I changed. It was very little. I'm try to help isolate and throw some information out there about crashes and potential causes. So this is more like a symptomatic window or a symptomatic lens into a possible cause. Um, all right, so you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so this is my new load order. The only thing that really changed here is one of the things I wanted to try was I wanted to put the LOD here. I wanted to put this beneath, which this was done by that Logjin, Xedit or Fallout 4 Logjin. I wanted to put it beneath the Previs repair pack. Before, it was up here above it. So I had the LOD, the previs, and what I was trying to eliminate was pop-in, because you almost had a double pop-in, where, in matter of fact, pop-in was more pronounced and it was slower. So I wasn't sure about when or in what order the game engine does what. So I thought, okay, I'm going to flip this around and see what happens. And it could be just me or coincidental, but it does look like putting the LOD gen beneath after coming after previs did make a difference. Pop-in is now much less noticeable. Now below that, I have the remodel, the whole set of remodel for the settlements. This changes a lot. One of the things I did notice was in Hangman's Alley, the nav meshes seem to still have a problem. So when it allowed me to manually delete some things that the game wouldn't let me delete, but the nav mesh, the NPCs couldn't walk across the nav mesh. It's like they couldn't walk on what appeared to be open ground, but I have a feeling it had to do with nav mesh cutting or something. So I had to put like little bridges for them to walk on just to get them to go over it. So it's almost like the nav mesh didn't get updated properly. That could be a game engine issue. So I did that. Another thing I did was up here in sound. So let's do this. So I had reverb, this ambience. It's like a reverb and ambience. I had this up here. I had this on top of everything. But I had read somewhere where it needed to, where they suggested putting it below other sound mods in case, I'm assuming in case the sound mods had modified certain records. So I had it all the way down here to the bottom. I put this actually last, beneath this bullet impact. And you can see over here that I've played it 28 times, 29 times, and I've got 4 errors. 3 of those errors are audio crashes. 1, 2, and 3. This one here was when I was approaching Ten Pines Bluff. I was coming up the railroad track where Ten Pines Bluff is above me to my left. There's a little area called Blue Caves, which I think is the sewers. The sewers adds that. There's no previs problem there or anything like that, and it crashed with this particular error. And when you look at it, it had let's see what the actual error message is real quick. It had something like I was wanting to say like C node or something. Jobs thread jumps. Yeah, there's nothing here that really to me stands out. Maybe the address might mean something to somebody, but there's nothing there to me that stands out. Okay, here we go, like 9 node and scene root. Okay, so this was what's in the register. Now this is a NIF of some kind. And apparently scene node needs to be the primary root. I'm not sure what happened with this. This could be a bad NIF. Now, Ten Pines Bluff was vanilla. However, this is not a common crash. This is a random crash. I could run up that railroad track multiple times and it not crash. This was the first time I actually ran up that railroad track and Ten Pines was just on the left. Now, I hadn't discovered it yet, so it hadn't loaded the cell, but for some reason, when I guess it was loading LOD or previs combined for a distant object, but it was actually called out because by the railroad tracks you can't really see above those rocks. So, and you're kind of like looking up at an angle, for forward at an angle. Well, it crashed. That's when I got this crash. So I'm not really sure what the problem is with that. But the audio crashes I thought were interesting. So what I did was I tried rearranging the audio drivers, or the audio mods that affect the sound. And I had put reverb all the way down here. Well, I started getting some crashes, so then I moved it all the way back up to the top, got some crashes, moved it down here. After the third crash, which is here, I had moved it where it is currently. But I don't think that was the problem, because if you look at, let's see, if we look at some of these buff out logs, you can see that everything was an audio register, everything. So all the registers are pointing to that X audio driver. So I don't remember seeing any particular file name in here. So here's what I think it was. I had read, doing a little bit of research, I had read that some of the drivers don't like excessive reverb, like really excessive reverb. So I think all three of these were the same thing. And if you go into the game and you look at, if we go here into the game and give me a second to load it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. There is a slider setting under audio which has reverb and ambience. And for some reason, those sliders get maxed out. And you can really tell because things sound excessively loud. You can barely hear NPCs talk over rain and thunder. Echoes are through the roof. I'm thinking it has to do with maybe adding and removing mods mid-game. I have not done that this game, so I'm trying to rule that variable out. And given the fact that I like to tinker with things, that's a very hard nature to fight. Because I'm thinking, okay, I want to click this one mod, can't really cause a problem, so I want to throw it in here. This one DLL can't cause a problem, so I want to throw it in there. But if you take a look here under settings, under audio, this is what I'm talking about right here. The RAO ambience and RAO reverb, these were maxed out. So I had lowered the ambience a little bit, and I had lowered the reverb some. So far, these settings have stuck. These two settings here stuck. So I don't think it's... So I'm thinking that may have been the problem, because somewhere they said the audio drivers with excessive reverb can actually cause a crash. And I did have 3 audio crashes. So after doing that, making sure the settings stuck, I have played literally for almost a full day without a crash. Now that's pretty good compared to, well, we'll do an overlay real quick so you can see exactly the new things that I added. So I rearranged the load order just a little bit. I added, of course, I put Ragdoll Physics in, that's new. Skin Tone Fix for Nax, that's new. Of course, I updated the patcher. Denim and Leather for Kate, that's an outfit. It's a nicer looking outfit. Then I put in all the remodels. I have FGEP, the definitive edition, updated Mike's flags. True Storms, I added True Storms. There's FGEP definitive, and I put legendary for the definitive version of FGEP, which is that Feral Ghoul expansion pack. I have True Storms in here now, so I've got Knack and True Storms, and there is a patch for both of them, so they work together. I added a couple rock textures from Vivid, just little simple stuff, nothing major. Changed the fonts, put in some sewer fixes, nothing major there. Put in some animated, I think the animated Vault Boys were already there. And combat distance is new. And I think I updated Ivy. Well, I think I updated that in the last one. And that's about it. There's really not that many changes. If you go over here and take a look at the load order summaries, you go back to the last load order here, and we take a look at the history of it. you can actually see that I was getting a lot of crashes. There's the audio crash I had. That was when I first started getting it. Same thing. And then I was getting loose file streams left and right, loose file streams. Well, I'd added and removed a lot of mods. Well, not a lot of mods, but I did add and remove some, which is what I'm trying to eliminate this playthrough. But if you take a look at, let's get down here a little bit further, like when you get a loose file stream, it would have been this one. If you take a look at the game saves that I had at the time of that crash, my let's see. Oh, let me take this out real quick. I was doing a little bit of debugging work. Okay, so you can literally see that it was roughly 43 megabytes. That's pretty good size for a game save. I know a lot of people talk about limit to the game save size, but I think the game save size, or when you start having problems, but I think the issue is forms, change forms. Because when I played this game, I was picking everything. There is, for Life Finds a Way, I have the mod in there where, you know, it gives you the extra like plants and things to pick. So I picked literally everything I could find. So stressing it out to the most, to the max. And that, I think the number of forms pushed that through the roof. Whereas if you take a look at current saves, let's go over here to the current save section. This is the one right here that we showed, that I was showing the load order for. This right here is this data. So and so that'd be this data here. All right, so you can see that it got as big as 47 megabytes. And that's what I'm thinking, okay, I'm like a level 80 something, I'm good, I'm going to start a new game because I want to try the new FGAP out and I want to try some new things out. Whereas if you look at the current game here, this is the last one of the current game, you can see that it is only 24. So I'm thinking change forms. There's change forms to rule out where you got 14 bazillion, which gather over time. I'm going to assume that there will be a fluctuate in your game save. So I'm assuming that you have a cell refresh, at which point you don't need change forms. If you don't move everything and there's not a lot of stuff laying around, you don't need change forms. If there's object dropped on the ground and they're using change forms to do that, once that object is picked up and deleted from the world, it should clear that out. So I do believe there should be a fluctuation in the form size, and I can tell by looking at it that it does, because here it's here 2 hours and 18 minutes into my current game, you can see that it's 24.3 megabytes, or roughly 24.4, and now it's it went up to, or yeah, 0.37. Now it's 0.31, 0.32, see 0.35. So it does fluctuate. That would make sense. So that could be a possibility. So those are the only things I've changed. And if you look at the new one, you can see that it does have the only 3 out of the 4 is audio. This 10 Pine ones could be a mesh. So I've got some ideas on some things I want to work out with meshes and things like that, to see if I can maybe uncover some potential problems. I know there's a Skyrim program called NifScan that might be able to pick out potential NIF problems, but I'm not sure if that's going to work 100% for Fallout 4, because they may have added different nodes to the NIFs. I'm not sure yet. I haven't looked at it. But yeah, that's, and also I removed drones. Like some of the things I removed Ice Storm's drones, and I'm not getting any more, and I don't think it's actually his drones. I think it has to do with injecting or leveled lists. I'm not getting any more suspended stacks. If you notice the suspended stack column here, there is no suspended stacks whatsoever. So, and this is I've already gotten the dudes from saying, I've already got the dudes at Concord, Preston and his groups at Concord. I've got, what, let's see, 5 settlements. Let me see how many settlements I got here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 settlements that are all kind of doing their own thing. I do go there. I do have to go there and kind of get rid of the excess workers, but other than that, so I have played this game a little bit, and like I say, the three common crashes I had were audio, and the one is Ten Pine Bluffs. The Ten Pine Bluffs could be a NIF, it could be something else. I'm not really sure. So just wanted to kind of drop that off as you know, where I currently stand and what I'm currently doing. And I'll keep poking away at it, because apparently this seems to be a little bit more stable. Could be just a knock on wood moment. I know I'm gonna post this, and I know it's immediately gonna crash. Or it's gonna crash. I'm gonna say within about 4 or 5 minutes.
Did you need anything?
So and just kind of see how it goes. So I'll keep you informed, and hopefully we can find some commonalities or something to just kind of make everybody's load order just a little bit steadier. But to show you real quick, I don't really have that really wonky pop-in. See in the background where you got the trees? I don't really have... I'm going to get out of here. I don't really have any of that really massive pop-in. I will, but it's not as bad. So it's a lot more smooth. Now, it could be adding mods. See, way back there in the distance. It could be adding mods mid-game, because I do notice the grass is kind of jacked up, but that's because I left a patch mod out to help fix the grass, so that could be why there's a lot of open spots. It's kind of jacked. But I just don't have the pop-in like I used to, except back over here, which I think that is a pre-combined problem, because there's a mod that changes the area up there, so it definitely doesn't jive with BNS. I updated to BNS 3.0, so it was no longer the 2.0 beta, it's the 3.0. That's another thing I changed, which may have had improved meshes and LODs. So all that is a possibility. All right, well, I'm going to cut this short before the video gets too big, because I tried recording at 1440p as opposed to 720 just to see what it looks like. So yeah, good luck and have fun.